안 오셨어? 너무 바쁘셔가지고. 내가 데이비드 어머님 만나면 물어보더라고요. 뭘 때문에 할 사람. 안 가. 너무 잘 됐어. 뭘 너무 잘 됐네. 미슐랭 가시라고 가만히 있어요. 아니면 가지고. 나랑 비슷하신데. 우리끼리 못 사는 근데 이제 아빠는 또 잠깐 들어왔다 그러니까
바뀌면서 작년에 3년 저희가 1시 30분에 바로 시작할 거고요. 안내 드린 것처럼 여기 테이블에 QR코드는 Korean Translated 슬라이드가 액세스가 가능하시거든요. 그래서 QR코드 스캔하셔서 한국어 슬라이드, 번역된 슬라이드 확인하실 수 있으시고요. We're going to start in 2 minutes, 1:30 at sharp. So. 온라인으로 액세스 하시는 분들은 저희가 QR코드를 이메일로 바로 발송해 드렸습니다. 그래서 이메일 확인하시고요. 이메일에 QR코드 스캔하셔서 한국어 슬라이드 확인하실 수 있으시고요. 미팅 이후에 Korean version and English version 슬라이드와 함께 서베이 보내드릴 거예요. 피드백 서베이 보내드릴 거니까요. 이메일에 피드백 서베이 확인해 주시면 좋을 것 같습니다.
Okay, we know your time's valuable, so we're going to go ahead and start and just want to welcome you today. Thank you very much for this, I feel, incredibly important meeting. I know in the MYP IB, grades 6 to 10 is all one big process, but for TCIS, there is quite a change in the culture from middle school to the high school years, and so that's why we think it's really important to take some time and just absorb some of the different changes that might be happening. I also want to welcome the people online who are watching. The email should be going to everybody with the Korean translation and the English transition. It should be going out anytime now. Well, I just want to welcome you again. My name is Mr. Ward, and I serve as the middle school assistant principal and the MYP coordinator, grade 6 to 10. We have back in the back here, Mrs. Smith, our secondary principal, who's going to share some things with you also. And our deputy principal, Mr. Hidalgo, cannot be here today due to another appointment. He's meeting with some people right now. And then our other amazing teammate, Miss Ree, over here. And so everyone is well aware of all the amazing things she does in our school. She is specifically the grade 9 to 10 counselor. Well, today's agenda is going to be looking at MYP in high school, because there is a little bit of a shift, and we want to make sure that we can fully communicate that well to you. We're also going to be taking a look at the high school journey, both some new exciting additions to the schedule next year that Mrs. Smith is going to present, also extracurricular activities, clubs, and then we want to give ample time for questions and answers, anything that we can do to support you. I will start with this slide here, and because my first year as the MYP coordinator, I just want to share a huge thank you to our parents. As I've come into this role this year, I found how absolutely valuable it has been to have your feedback and your understanding of what you're seeing. We have a great relationship with our parents, and I truly believe that. I've been a long-time parent at this school, I've been a long-time teacher, but to now to have access to all the different parent questions we've had in the middle school and in the MYP years, I've seen how important this is. And so I just want to remind everybody, especially people that may not have, at ease in Daejeon. We have many parents that are all over Korea right now with our boarding program, that we have amazing counselors. Anytime there's a social, emotional issue, general struggles, and something where we're seeing just evidence of some real struggle in all classes, our counselors are here to support that. We also have an amazing learning support coordinator who is Mr. Thorne, who's available to support our students. Also our subject teachers. I do believe, and I see emails, every time a teacher has a student that's fallen behind in class, we have our safety net, that A1, A2 report. If you don't see it, that means your child has been really actively involved and moving forward really well. If you do see it, it's TCIS's way of just making sure no student falls through the cracks. And our teachers are always CCing myself and Mr. Hidalgo on any student. And we see many different emails where teachers are reaching out. And I've seen many different emails where parents are courtesy copying me on what they're trying to get from the teacher. I think it's so valuable. So thank you very much for your connection with your subject teachers. They are always willing to respond and to understand. That's the community that we want to have at TCIS, that we are engaging in a partnership on your child's journey. And so please, please, please never feel afraid to email or to write questions. And then once again, me as the MYP coordinator, as the curriculum advisor for grades 6 to 10, but also in my role as the assistant middle school principal to support Mrs. Smith and Mr. Hidalgo. Sorry, we have a parent that might be locked out there. I want to make sure that you know that I absolutely am always willing and honored when you reach out for any questions you might have. And if I don't have the specific answer, my goal is, I may be new to this role this year, but I'm not new to TCIS, and I've been here a very long time. And my goal is to make sure I connect you to the right people to get the answers. And our goal as an administrative team for the middle school, and also as an MYP coordinator, is within 24 hours try to respond to you and say, here's the answer that we're aware of, or we're still doing some investigation or some inquiry to the issue, and we'll respond to you very quickly. And so within 24 hours, and if you don't get something, then please, please, please write back right away and say, it's been 24 hours, and we want to make sure we get that to you. Also, as in a form of communication, we've always shared these links, and these will be available in your slideshow. The links to our TCIS adopted curriculum standards by subject. We absolutely appreciate our parents are so involved in their child's education. We want to make sure that you know exactly what subject skills are being taught at what time in the grade level. And so these are available to you. I've also placed in here just an overview of the IB. I know we have many parents who are new to the IB, especially in some of our younger years. We've grown quite rapidly. The MYP still may be something kind of new, and I want to make sure we address that. And then also our TCIS MYP handbook. This was something that is updated in 2023. I've gone through all the major things that are helpful for the transition to our grade 9 and 10 students. And so I've gone through that, but we are under still a revision as we've adopted the 5 C's in grade 8. There's a few more things we're just trying to make sure that gets inside this document very soon. And so the TCIS MYP handbook has a lot more detail into the core of the MYP, things like our global context, things like our concepts. It's got, definitions for command terms that I'm going to talk about briefly here in a few minutes, where you can see all of that information. So a very important document that TCIS has updated over the years to make sure students and parents are well informed about the MYP. So, what continues as your child grows from grade 8 to grade 9? Well, MYP does continue until grade 10, we know that. We still use the same criterion-based assessments. Every subject will have a criterion A, B, C, and D. And we continue with MAP testing so we can recognize the growth in our skills, math, science, language, reading. These skills we still assess. Now in middle school, I'm doing those 3 times a year. As we've transitioned to project-based learning and really making sure that our skills are staying strong and intact and our growth is shown, we do those 3 times a year. As our high schoolers grow in much more challenging assessment, as they grow older, we found it best appropriate to not remove 4 days of class time for these 3 times a year. We still do it twice a year because this data is absolutely important for us as teachers. And so that's where August and April, your children will still participate in that. So today I want to touch base on some of the criterion things that might change. This is the overall MYP structure. And like I said, we do have many parents in our community who are not fully aware of everything in the MYP still. Maybe it's just been a semester as your child has learned it. Maybe you've been here since PYP, and so this is old news. I just want to give a brief overview of how the MYP assessment works, our framework for making sure our students can deliver on their learning. The MYP is broken down into 4 criteria, as I said earlier, and we have our grade level bands. And as I communicate the changes in the grade level bands, you will see some of the areas where your child's growing and what may seem very similar skills, but the children go much deeper into their learning. And so, for example, a student in this one is grade 10 science, criterion C, they would have the objective of correctly collecting, organizing, transforming, present data in numerical and visual forms. They also have the objective of accurately interpreting data and explain results using correct scientific reasoning. And I won't go through all of these, but I just want to show you a difference in some of the levels so parents who are new to the MYP understand how your child's being assessed. When the teacher goes through a criterion C objective, the children are expected to be able to do all of this. And if they can do all this, they receive a score of an 8. Let's say your children go through the project and they've been able to accurately do 4 of these, but up here, there's still, a few of them are still in this range. Well, TCIS would determine that would be a 7. Because they're not completely in the 7 and 8 band. They're not in the 5-6 band, but they are kind of right in this area, which is a fantastic score. A 7 is something all our children, I hope our parents are proud of. But we want to make sure that parents are aware that there is specific differences in the 5, 6, and the 7 and 8. And that's what we call command terms. These command terms are inside of these, and I'm going to break that down so you can see the difference of what your children are now growing into. So, in grade 6, for a criterion C in science, a child would be told to present collected and transformed data, interpret data, and outline the results. That's grade 6, detail. But in grade 10, at the end of year 5, what we call the MYP, grade 10, your children next year are going to be in this rubric. And the teachers are now beginning to build them in year 4 to outcomes that they should be able to do at the end of year 5. And so you can see the command terms are now different and the detail expected. So instead of just present collected and transformed data, children are now supposed to be able to correctly collect, organize, transform, and present data in numerical and visual forms. Much more detail. Strain 2, instead of just being able to interpret data and outline, maybe just give quick little bullet points, they now are expected to interpret data and explain, giving reasons and causes for their results using scientific reasoning. This is the growth in the MYP that the teachers are working towards. And these command terms are highlighted because they present higher order thinking, the ability to do deeper learning. We found that as there was a jump last year to grade 9, that students, 60% felt prepared for that jump. And I'm being quite honest with you, when I collected this data as the first time coming into the role, I thought, wow, that's not a strong percentage. I mean, we are doing fantastic in some things, adjusted to the schedules and the routine, so our students who've exited out of project-based learning have now entered into grade 9 high school schedule. They felt pretty strong about that. They work well in Toddle. I don't want to say love, I almost said love Toddle, but they do feel comfortable in Toddle. They feel comfortable in the tools that we use. They know where to find activity plans. That's one of the biggest goals we had that kind of grew, how we want to make sure students at any given time can know exactly what their objectives are for the class, and I'm going to demonstrate that to you shortly for any parents who might be new to that. Task-specific clarifications, I'm also going to talk about that a little bit. These are incredibly valuable for our MYP students. And then understanding how the MYP criteria are used. All pretty strong. I won't go through all of these, but one major, except for this one, I was actually quite enjoying this one. I made new friendships and built positive relationships. 100% last year of our grade 9 cohort that filled out the survey said that. Manage time and workload easily. There's a significant jump back to our criteria in the detail that we're building the students to. Transition. There we go. Transition was stressful for them. These are areas of strong concern for us as secondary school, and so we wanted to look into these. And so as we've done that, and just a little more detail into this data, the big areas that we're going to be focusing on. Academic preparedness, 40% still need support to build academic readiness. 43%, they don't feel completely able to manage the time and the transition. And so this semester, to begin that, and I shared this at our October meeting, part of our initiative for the spring is to work on these 4 specific areas. And in our schedule, Mrs. Smith has built into middle school days specific times where we're able to address these. We recognize that the learning that happens in our school is not just in the core subjects. There's powerful things that have to happen as we build our children towards the DP. And so we have blocks of time where there will be grade level meetings and wellness check-ins, both with the counselor and with myself as the MYP coordinator. We also have been going through a homework curriculum that helps them absorb these new changes. And so these are areas where we're going to accomplish some of these different things. For instance, Bridge program, introducing subjects and expectations and what they may look like in grade 9 compared to what they have in grade 8. We don't want the students to be surprised. Study skills, asking the grade 9, 10 teachers, where are our grade 8 students needing more work as they get into grade 9? And then letting the grade 9 teachers give that type of feedback to prepare our children. Check-ins. That A1, A2 report has always been incredibly valuable. And each week, if a teacher recognizing that there's somebody just falling a little bit behind, those students are immediately contacted. Parents are immediately contacted. So we make sure that we can keep everybody just moving with momentum. And so as you can see, this will be all inside the document. These are areas that we want to press into. So for myself, in our grade level meetings this semester, some criterion workshops. Understand what it means to actually make the jump from the 5, 6 to the 7 and 8. These are incredibly important things that our parents and our children need to understand, because I believe our students want to do well. There should be no ambiguity at all on what it takes to go from a 5, 6 to a 7, 8. Also, looking at what students in grade 9 would say, this would be valuable if you got back in the habit of maybe an activity planner for yourself. making a calendar for yourself. I want the grade 8 students to hear from our current grade 9s and 10s and say, hey, you may think Mr. Ward's crazy anytime he says get a daily student planner working in your favor again, but when they hear the grade 9, 10 say it, trust me, if somebody in grade 8 hears a senior say, you have to have a calendar for all of your homework, or you will not feel successful. It's going to mean something. So, having children come in and hear from other people in other grades. And so I know I'm going to move fast through this. One area with this objective is that we want to make sure that the assessment and the differences and the levels of details are really understood and communicated. And so I mentioned earlier that these differences should be very clear. A child should always be aware of what it takes. We just lost our connection. And we have Brad Pitt. Can we use the cable? I don't trust Apple TV. No offense, Brad Pitt. Give us 1 second, I apologize. Thank you, Mr. You're a hero. Thank you. Okay, so now we should be locked in, not the Wi-Fi dependent. We've got an actual old cable there. I trust the cable. So as we look at this, I want the students to understand, okay, you were at a 5-6, you received feedback from your teacher. How do you now jump to the next level? This is the academic preparedness I believe our students possibly may have felt a little bit insecure in. It takes communication. It takes independent advocacy for themselves, going out and meeting with the teacher and talking. This is something where in the MYP, the assessment criteria place greater emphasis on students working independently and taking responsibility for their learning. When I taught grade 10 for many years, every single day a student would come to me and say, this is the feedback I got, is this what we're looking for? I would go through the task-specific clarifications with them and say, fantastic job, you've met it. There should be no surprises at TCIS with a teacher and a student all of a sudden feeling, I don't know what I need to do to get there. That's not how we operate. That's not how the MYP operates. And so we want to make sure students understand that at any time we need to reach out and advocate for themselves. So within each of the criterions, a teacher, and I'll show you an example here, should have what we call a task-specific clarification. So the student, for Strand 1 in science, correctly collect, organize, transform, and present data in numerical and visual forms. The document that you should be able to see as parents, and the students should always be able to see, should also have a breakdown of what that looks like. So if I'm going to accomplish this task, what exactly do I need to do? Data is organized in a clear, well-structured table with correct headings and units. Okay, so the student now knows to correctly collect, I need to have this. And we're going to use the most appropriate graph style that we've learned in class to communicate this type of data. And we're going to choose line graph or continuing variables. This is another area where they would have to achieve, and they would know exactly what that is. The graph includes title, labeled axes, units, appropriate scale, and best fit line if relevant. And this is an example of how students would accomplish that. I'm going to show you a real grade 8 example of a teacher doing a great job with their task specifics in a moment. And then finally, data is accurately transformed. A child may come in and go, what do you mean by transforming data? Well, in science, they would have to understand that we transform data by moving it into averages or rates or whatever that may be. And so this is the task specific. So thank you for many of you who are aware of this process. I appreciate you continually telling your children, reach out to your teacher and make sure you've hit these marks. There's no surprises if you talk to your teacher. If you're brand new to the MYP, thank you for hearing that. I just wanted you to know, once again, there's no surprises. We want to make sure the children understand absolutely how to get to the next phase. And you as parents, If you're ever wondering where this information is located, we use Toddle. Now I know we've grown into Toddle. Many of you were here with us on that journey at times. I remember emails saying, there's nothing on the Toddle, and I appreciate those emails. As TSAS has grown to this new software platform starting last October, I believe we're at a place where teachers are fully using it. If there's ever a discrepancy or a concern you have, all you have to do is email and we'll find the answer. But inside Toddle, when you click Classroom, the little book, by our procedures, every teacher should have, for every unit, a daily activity plan. Now, sometimes the language might change. It might say unit planner, like this grade 8 teacher does for science. That's okay. It's the document that you get to see what's happening every single day in class. When you click that document, you should see something like this. Now, this is standard form for every single class from grade 6 to grade 12 at TCIS. Inside this document, you will see the date, what lesson materials might be available for the child, any tasks that were provided, and any due dates. Once again, no surprises at TCIS. There should not be if we're operating under our procedures. Inside of these, you'll see, now this teacher down below where I took this rubric from, they have a summative rubric that I'll show you an example of in a second. Here they have an ATL rubric. We recognize that ATLs are those formative tasks that build students' ability to understand the content before they're asked to demonstrate that in a summative or an actual test or project. So these ATL rubrics are the practice activities, the learning ladder that takes them to that level where they're absolutely confident for the big grade. Here, right underneath here, I've got an example of a summative that these students did this year in grade 8. Your child, for science, was expected to describe a problem or question to be tested by a scientific investigation. This is a criterion B. This is what the IB says they should be able to accomplish at the end of year 3, a grade 8 rubric. Notice the command terms are highlighted, describe, describe. In the MYP handbook that I've linked inside our presentation, all those command terms are defined for you on what our expectations are. Here, the teacher broke it down. Describe a question that can be tested by experimentation, including independent variables, dependent variable, and controlled variables. So they know they have to discuss all 3 of those variables to be able to achieve this. Outline and explain using scientific language. Demonstrate at least 3 variations. A child can go through their process and they can look, did I do this? Oh, did I have 3 or more sources of cited reference? Yep, I got the 7, 8, or I got the 8. This would be an 8 if they achieved all of these. Did I outline and explain? Did I produce a brief, just little statements that say, this is what I learned, this is what I learned, and this is why I think it's important? Outline and explain. Now, I'm not a science teacher. I did design and computer technology for many years, but this all operates the same way for every subject. And then finally, design safe, logical, and complete method with a list of materials and equipment with quantities. That's how this teacher expected them to go through this criteria. So, once again, these are the objectives that we have in the MYP. Your children are now growing in the level of expectation, the level of detail. With that, we're going to take the rest of this semester to really make sure they understand how to understand these rubrics, but also how to advocate for themselves if they have any questions, because when they own their learning, there's no surprises. Every child should be able to achieve an 8. Okay. I am happy this will be recorded on YouTube if you want to watch again and understand further, or once again, anytime there's curriculum-related questions, I will be happy to visit, sit down and talk you through it at your convenience, okay? All right, thank you very much. Now I'm going to invite Mrs. Smith to come up and share some things about this upcoming schedule for your grade 9 children.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Ward. If you would just take a moment, I'm going to open these links, but take a moment and turn and talk with your neighbor and ask, I'm not quite clear on this, or I have a further question, or, oh, I understand this now. Take a moment and share with your neighbor, please. All right, I said this at the principal's update. You make great students, so well done. Thank you so much. I did want to take you in for just a moment. We're not going to go through this entire thing, and it's hard to fit on the screen, so it's easy to see. So hopefully you can see these blocks well, and I'll scroll down in a minute. I want to draw your attention, first of all, to a word at the top that's actually hard to read, but right up there, it says draft, okay? I wanted to point that out. I have been so thankful for the great feedback I've been receiving. And so this draft was done a week ago, and I've gotten so much feedback that I'm actually thinking there could be a few tweaks to this. So I just want you to understand, I'm gathering your feedback and faculty feedback, and I'm also going to be sharing with our students so that we can really hone in on what is best for our community. And so here is a grade 9 block schedule. It looks very similar to the high school schedule this year. There's a few differences here, such as there's a first block of the morning that is Learning Lab and Bible. This block may move, that's why I said I'll get back to you, but the idea is offering the dedicated college counseling time, enhancing the Learning Lab, and I'm going to share all that in a document that's translated, so give me a moment. But I just wanted to show you this span of the day is assembly homerooms, and then there's a block here before lunch, and the whole idea is that students have some morning blocks, then they go into their assembly homeroom clubs, then they have a brief break, and then they go into one final block before lunch, and that's kind of the nice grouping, that you get some learning in, then you have a different interaction, a brief break, and then back into the learning, and then go into lunch, and then you have your afternoon classes here. And I can answer questions on this in a little bit, but one of the things I want you to know is that we have one block of high school electives now, but next year we have 2 different blocks, and so that's an enhancement and so forth. So let me go into this document that actually puts this in writing, in English and Korean. And so this document is a compilation, and it's just sharing that we want to enhance a few things and really think about what we can deliver during the school day. And so the idea is that this document outlines some key aspects of what we're doing to strengthen what we offer. And so here are the 3 goals. This is what I wanted to share with you. The 3 primary goals: strengthening student support and academic growth. And so in this paragraph, you will see here that we have office hours dedicated during the school days, but the Learning Lab, really using that time to do some writing enhancement and so on. And then the college and career, having that dedicated block from 9 to 12. This doesn't replace one-on-one meetings, but this block is dedicated to advising and guiding students through academic planning, university research, application preparation, career exploration, all from those periods. The application will be more in the later years, but building up to that and preparing for that are key. And then, and again, like in the strings and bands, separating those and being able to offer continuity in our Bible courses. And so that's a brief summary, but what I want to do is go over here to the tabs. I may have to escape here. Just a second. I want to go to the tabs and show you that this document will be shared with you. And you can see the grade 9-10 tab right here. And if you click on that grade 9-10 tab, that is for you. And so with that, let me do this again here. Okay. So the idea is these key goals, specifically for grades 9 and 10, we want to offer things that will strengthen their writing and presentation skills within the Learning Lab time. We want to, again, dedicate time. So Mrs. Ree works with grade 9 and 10 students, but it's once or twice a semester. It's not an ongoing, continuous cycle so that students retain. Because sometimes they've done something, but if they visited a month or 2 months later, they don't always hang on to that. And so the idea is to have that ongoing college and career exploration, and then the consistent Bible instruction and so forth. So that's a brief summary there, and I'll put it up in Korean here so you can see it as well. And then instructional blocks. The morning instructional blocks are 60 minutes. And I just want to highlight for parents, in case you're not aware, the MYP actually really only requires 50 hours of instruction. Saying that out loud is so strange. 50 hours. Yeah, we can't do that. But they say, well, grades 9 and 10, you might do 70 hours, or chilshin. But this model offers 90 hours of instruction per year. So that's exceeding that. And then the college counseling, again, the academic planning, course selection, university awareness, career exploration, really helping students begin these questions early. I started asking my children when they moved into high school, I was like, so what do you think you're going to do in the DP? What do you think you might want to do in university? What do you think you want to do? I was having these conversations from grade 9 onward. I didn't wait till grade 11. And so it's really important that our students have access to exploring things. That doesn't mean they have to make final decisions. But they need to have ongoing opportunities to revisit and review and reflect. And then the Bible instruction, this again may change that 30-minute block, but the idea would be to have Bible throughout the year versus for one semester. And so, there you go. And then the Learning Lab, this is really key. We will continue to cover digital citizenship, personal project, and community engagement, but that writing development, the creative writing, the presentation skills, learning how to speak in front of groups and so forth, those are really invaluable pieces that our students need to grow in. And so we're hoping to, or we're planning to enhance all of that. We have a teacher right now writing this curriculum and working with Mr. Ward on that. So we're very, very excited about that. And I think that's it for grades 9 and 10, but I just wanted to share again that this document will be sent to you, and you will have access to looking at what we're doing in grades 6 to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and kind of understanding the overall purpose in looking at this new block schedule, expanding the arts offerings, and so forth. So I wanted to share that with you just briefly, just so you could see that. I am open to taking a question or two. I want to respect Mrs. Rhea and Mr. Ward's time with you, Mr. Ndago. But if you have a quick question that you would like to ask me now, I can entertain that now if you would like to ask. All right, well with that, I will hand it back over to Mrs. Rhee, and thank you. 감사합니다.
Alright, so now we're gonna recap of what we've been discussing in October. Can you raise your hand if you were here in October? Alright, there's a few. Okay, we're gonna spend a little bit of time to recap of what we've been discussing in October. But before we do so, I want you to take the photo on this QR code. Scan this QR code, and then rating your level of confidence about supporting your child transition to high school. So you can scan this QR code and then put like 3 or 5, 4 or 5 or even 1 or 2, rating your confidence level. Ooh. Waiting for more people. 4 answer, and then the majority of you are having 3 star right now. All right, some is a little bit more confident. Yes. 63% still agree. So our average score is 2.8. And yeah, so that we can see where you are at, especially in the confidence level on supporting your child to the high school transition. All right, thank you for your feedback. We're gonna give a lot of information now, and with this information, I really want you as the parent gain more confidence on supporting your child to the high school. All right, so this is what we've been discussed. We're gonna quickly go over. We talked about high school is not just about the grade, it is about the growth. So student needs to growth in academic rigor and the skill development, identity exploration and confidence building, and independence and responsibility, and preparing for the future pathway. This is kind of what we are expecting student to growth in. And what we emphasized before was the strong academic foundation. The grade 9 and 10 is the year of the academic, growing the academic foundation. So strong study habit starts early, and consistency is more powerful than cramming. And then appropriate academic challenges matter. And student will develop growth mindset over perfection. And then self-advocacy and communication skill is important. And healthy routine like sleep, time management, and digital balance is very important. We also emphasize, if you can remember, you are not a manager anymore, you are the coach, right? Manager will manage every single things, but you are not a manager of your child, you're going to be a coach for your child. So you'll be set expectation, encourage growth, allows your child to make a mistake, so that they are learning from that mistake. And student, their responsibility is managing time, deadline, communicating with the teacher, growth through challenges. And the school provide the guidance, supporting for academic, social, emotional well-being, and then future planning. So all of these are all about partnership. Our goal is not to control over your child, is to give them a confidence, responsibility, and then resilience. And then we are encouraging students to communicate directly with their teacher and advocate themselves, while we as the school and the parent can still have it open the communication between school and parents supporting your child's success. And as Ms. Smith already mentioned, it's a really time to think about long-term planning. And long-term planning really start now. So high school is the time to build independence, develop key skill, and explore a future their pathway. So now we're going to turn into how the start of the high school journey. So as the coach, coach of your child, you can coaching the foundation. So student can prepare for the IB/DP success from grade 9. Alright, so grade 9 and 10 are about the building a strong academic foundation. So the purpose of the grade 9 and 10 is to build the academic skill and rigor, and then develop time management and independence, explore interest within the structure pathway. You gave, Ms. Smith already mentioned about our program, what we're going to be changing next year. With that structure pathway, students can explore their interest and prepare intentionally for the DP subject selection. So it's really the time to think ahead to DP and college as well. So when a student make a good choice in grade 9 and 10, that will influence DP subject eligibility, HL/SL readiness, and academic confidence, college and career alignment as well. So this is actually what high school transcript look like. So your child's transcript will look like this. So grade will be matter starting grade 9. So GPA begins in grade 9, every year counts, and then when the student applying to the college, this is the transcript we're going to send to. So you can see the grade 9, all the list of courses, and semester 1 grade, semester 2 grades, year-long grade, and their credit. And this is how we calculate the GPA. And then each year's GPA will be displayed here and with a cumulative GPA. So when students applying to the college, it'll listed grade 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then we're going to send that to the college. And course choices shape their future option. We're going to talk about this a little bit later, but the course choices shape their future options. So in everything, academic, activity, well-being, the balance will be matter. So in grade 9, students will start to taking the PSAT in October. So soon after they start the grade 9, October, they will start taking the PSAT. So PSAT grade 9 is kind of all exposure. So their first experience with an SAT style question, and they start understanding testing format and timing, and identify their academic strengths and area to grow. And grade 10, they were going to take it again in October, and then by taking it, they can track their academic progress across the subject area, and they continue in building reading, writing, math skill, and they are really practicing the digital SAT format, and that really helps determine their readiness to take the official SAT test. And grade 11 is the last SAT practice, and it's really a primary year of testing. And then that also qualifying for the National Merit Scholarship Program for the U.S. citizen. And from grade 9 to 11, TSA is actually using their PSAT score as the one part of the TSA's Merit Scholarship eligibility requirement. So students score well in grade 9, their PSAT, then they can using those PSAT score to apply to the TSA's Merit Scholarship as well. Now we're going to talk about the course progression. So strong MIT foundation really helps confidence in DP success, and that will end up helping the university readiness. So this is how the TSA's course will progress. So language and literature. So everybody will take the Lang and Lit 9 English, and then next following year English Lang and Lit grade 10. And DP year, they have a choice between English language and literature HL, which is the college level, and SL will be the AP level, a little bit higher than just high school level. Okay. Those who are in the very fluent in Korean and in the Korean language and literature courses now, they can continue with the Korean language and literature 9, and also we are offering the Korean literature HL and SL and DP level. Mandarin is similar. We do have a language acquisition courses. Those who are in the language acquisition courses in middle school, they can continue with their language, or if the student are fluent in their mother tongue, they can switch it to the Korean or Mandarin if necessary. So this is how the language and acquisition courses are progressed. So you can see students with 1 or 2 years of experience prior to the DP often find the best balance of challenges and success in DP ab initio. So I do see some students start changing their world language from Korean or Mandarin literature, and starting grade 9, Spanish or Mandarin, and they do the 2 years of language prior to the DP, and they will go to Spanish ab initio SL or Mandarin ab initio SL. That's another option the student can take. And HL and SL language courses, like Mandarin language HL and SL or Spanish language HL and SL, for the student that continuing learner have a strong foundation. Humanity, grade 9 student will take their humanity, grade 9 and humanity 10 in grade 10, and then we do offer 4 kind of DP courses in humanity area. So business management, economy, global politics, and psychology. It's still pending, but we will definitely offer in the future. And mathematics, student will take Math 9 Extended or Math 9 Standard. And then based on their performances, there will be kind of opportunity they can move to the Extended or moving to the Standard. And in DP, we are offering Math Application and Interpretation, HN and SL. And then analysis and approach, HN and SL. And then what you need to really consider, grade 9, 10 performances strongly impact the DP options. Science, that's kind of the hot topic for grade 8 parent and student. So we do offer biology, chemistry, and physics within the 2 years of grade 9 and 10. So students have the opportunity to explore all science subjects before choosing a specialized in DP by taking double science in grade 9 or grade 10. So the student who take the double science in grade 9 will only have option to take the physics in grade 10. If a student take the biology in grade 9, and they do have an option to take the double science or one of them. If a student know what their pathways are and wanting to only taking chemistry and physics, then some student will start with a chemistry 9 in grade 9, and then physics in grade 10, and take the DP science in those areas. So hopefully this makes sense. But in order to take the double science in grade 9, there's a specific requirement, which I'm going to communicate with you and student via email in early April. So you need to refer to that. Design, grade 9 design, we offer grade 9 design, and when they get to the grade 10, they have choices between computer technology or design technology, and they can continue with their design tech or computer science in grade 11 and 12. And please note that design counts as a DP science subject when in the DP level. Art, in grade 9, there's a 2 option, visual art or music, and the student can continue. Or after the grade 10, a student may choose art or another group 3 or 4 subject in DP. And then Bible, grade 9 will take the Old Testament, grade 10 will be New Testament. When you get to the DP, based on their DP status, they can take the DP TOK or TOK 11, and grade 12, TOK and spiritual reflection for the IB full DP student, and spiritual reflection for the non-IB DP student. So this is kind of basically when you are planning on the courses, you can think about, this is how the grade 9 through 12 courses will progress. So you can think ahead, for the DP, MIP courses, and then DP planning with your college aspiration too. So before choosing the courses, you need to think about these 3: direction, balance, and flexibility. Direction, does my child have a clear academic or career interest? If it's yes, and begin align subject correct accordingly. So, for example, my student, your child, have a very specific idea. I wanted to major in engineering and become a researcher. Then engineering only requires chemistry and physics. So they can start with the chemistry in grade 9 and take physics in grade 10 and take a double science in grade 11 and 12. Or my child wanted to major in medicine. Then biology, chem is the requirement. The student can start taking biology in grade 9 and then chemistry in grade 10 and taking biology and chemistry in grade 11 and 12. The answer is no, not yet. then keep option broad in MIP. So for example, in science specifically, students can take biology in grade 9, and then while they're exploring more, they can decide whether they're going to do the double science in grade 10 or just taking one science in grade 10. Balance. So actually, double science increases the workload. So you and your child needs to have a kind of ask this question: can my child managing their academic and activity and well-being? And if my child change direction in grade 10, will option remain open? You know, those 3 questions you need to think about when you are choosing the courses. So just to give you the information, I'm going to meeting with your child in April in the classroom. So we're going to talk about how to prepare students to smooth high school transition and guide the academic and social readiness, and then review the grade 9 course option and support for, of the student choosing their courses. But before we do so, I'm going to send out the email to the parents and then providing all the lists you need to consider so that that facilitate the discussion prior to they choosing their courses. So please please check on your email, especially comes from the counseling updates. That's very important information. All right, now I'm going to turn into the co-curricular activity. Actually, Mr. John is not here. I was not able to attend. I'm going to send this the slide with you so you can check the video. Basically, our high school offers the 3 seasons: the fall season volleyball, cross country and tennis, winter season basketball and cheerleading, and spring season soccer and badminton. And the forensic, academic quiz team and robotics actually learn all throughout the year. So you can check this video when you when you receive the email. And now I'm going to invite Mr. Hidalgo to talk about the clubs.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I would like to talk about clubs, and I want to share a little bit the background information about clubs. A couple of years ago, if you ask about clubs, we used to have around 1 club per student on the senior year. So if there were around 54 seniors, we had around 50 clubs. Or we have 49 clubs. Or if there were 60 seniors, there were 55 clubs. And what it was happening is like, they thought that because you were a senior, you had to be an officer of a club. But a club that then, when you were asking them, okay, what are you doing in your club? There was like, a lot of things. But tell me exactly what you're doing in your club. So like, a lot of things, Mr. Hidalgo. It's like, no. Tell me one activity that you engage with during this academic year. Well, not this academic year, but next year, I'll tell you that there are going to be a lot of activities happening. What's happening? That sometimes we perceive clubs as we need to be the officers. We need to be the president, we need to be the co-president, we need to be the secretary, we need to be the treasurer, we need to be an officer because that looks really good in our application. But then, whenever you inquire of what you've been doing in that club, you're going to see that there were many clubs that they were not active. So 2 years ago, when I took over clubs, I decided to actually audit all the clubs to see what clubs are they engaging the most, what clubs do they have legacy in the school, and what clubs are actually giving back to the community, and it's actually growing our student interest. And that's how we actually working on clubs right now. Currently we have 25 clubs. Last year we had 2 years ago we had 54. Last year we went down to 43, and this year we actually have 24 clubs. And there was only one requirement that we asked students this year, that they need to have an impact in the community. So if you want to run a club, that means that you guys need to engage in an activity that is impacting the community. It doesn't need to be a service activity, but it can engage through research. It can be going through a one-day experience in a center that they are offering for science, and you want to volunteer yourself there. How can we give back? How do we really engage that what you're doing in TCIS, you are giving back at the community? So clubs is about discovering your passions. And we want students to engage in clubs, but we want students to engage in clubs that they are active. clubs that they are meeting on a regular basis, and clubs that they actually have a meaning behind those clubs. Okay? So we want students to take the lead on those clubs. So we are not telling the students what to do. We are not telling the student what the expectations of in each club is. They know that they need to provide back to the community. They know that they need to engage somehow. But we are not asking them what they have to do. On a yearly basis, we're going to be doing an audit on those clubs and see what they've done and how they can actually prove how they've been engaging in the community or how they've been impacting younger students. It doesn't need to be high school. It can be elementary students, middle school students, high school students. So how are they keeping that club active? Because what we want is depth in clubs rather than positions. I'm an officer, I'm a president, I'm a vice president. I always tell the students that we unpack clubs based on, we want students to be active members in a club rather than passive leaders in a club that is actually not engaging in anything. Because universities, whenever you put, I'm the president of chess club, they're going to be asking you, okay, you were the president of the chess club. What did you do? We play chess during our club time. Okay, great. What else? Well, we play chess. It's like, what else? So universities, they want to see the depth. They want to see that, yes, you are running a chess club, but how are you impacting the community? Have you created any competition? Are you teaching younger students? Are you actually leading to another external competition? How are you engaging? And that's the meaning behind clubs. And based on experience, now it's been 2 years running clubs, I'm asking middle school students, and they sometimes come to see me and say, like, Miss Hidalgo, next year I want to join this club, this club, this club, this club, this club. So like, why do you want to join 7 clubs when you can only join 3 clubs based on the schedule, 3-4 clubs, and why do you need to do that? No, because they told me that it's really good for applications, for my college application. I was like, no, that's not the point of clubs. The point of clubs is we want you to engage in different clubs because we want you to engage in things that you really like, or you can engage on things that you don't know if you like it yet, but this is your opportunity to engage with. And we want you to be active in a club. We want you to be a participant in your club and engage with the members rather than signing up for that club and not showing up anymore. Okay, so that's how it's been run. That doesn't mean that grade 9 student or 10 or 11 or 12, they can come to me and say, Miss Hidalgo, I really want to open this club because I believe it and this is the proposal. So now students that they want to open new clubs, they need to come with a written proposal. Why do they want to engage in that club? Why do you think that that's going to be meaningful for TCIS? How are they going to be impacting the community with that club and how are they going to be leading that club? So we want to see that they really want to engage with the club, that they have that commitment, and we are going to be the first one supporting. But we want to see that it's more than being an officer or a college application thing. We want to see that they really have that passion and they want to grow on that. What I shared already, it's more about the depth of the club rather than the quantity. I don't want you to be a participant of 10 clubs. If you are not participant, if you are not going to meetings, if you are not engaging in activities, if you are not giving ideas, sharing ideas, engaging in external competitions, it's like we want you guys to be participant of 2 clubs, but they're really helping you to grow, be a better person, and they, trust me, if you're an active participant, they really are going to help you in your college application. Because when you write that college application, you're going to fully understand what that club was about, how it helped you to grow, and why you wanted to be in that club, and you were excited for that Wednesday club time because you really wanted to engage in that club. So it's more about the depth of a quantity. Those are the clubs that we are currently keeping. They are clubs that they've been here for years and years and years. And we want to keep them. But we want to see clubs that they are meaningful, clubs that they have depth, and clubs that they are engaging in external things that they are happening. And many of those clubs, they actually engage with external organizations, with volunteering, teaching students, engaging in science competition, engaging in so many other activities that they really are helping our students. And that's what we really want to keep. And I can talk, yeah? I can talk about service and leadership opportunities. Again, it's not just about academics. We want students that they are holistically developed. We want students that they are growing as people, rather than being able to get 7s in every single subject. We want students that they are successful holistically. So there are many other service and leadership opportunities. We've got LASA mission trips that they usually happen during spring break. It's Love All, Serve All mission trips. That currently we're going to the Philippines and we're going to Thailand. And we also have community service initiatives that they usually happen around December in elementary. Sometimes we do in March or November. We've got call delivery in November. So we encourage students to engage in these activities. We want a student to engage in activities that it's not just academics. It's about communicating with other people, seeing what is actually happening outside of TCIS, how people are living in different countries, and how can we support other students or other families that perhaps are struggling. And sometimes students believe or think that people are struggling in different countries. No, you just need to change your neighborhood here in Korea, and you're gonna see how there are families and there are students that they're struggling. How can we support them? So we wanna give those opportunities for students. The same that we have leadership opportunities with the STUCO, Student Council, National Honor Society, and new student ambassadors. We encourage students to sign up for those, although there are also requirements that they are explicit and you need to meet certain criteria, and then most of the time they need to go through faculty council votes for teachers that they have the holistic approach and understanding of the student to vote for that application. And what is shared in here, it's not about just academic, it's more about the universities, they want to see the holistic admission of the child. They want to see that, yeah, academically they are doing really well, but they also want to see how are they engaging in different things, that it's not just academics. What have you been doing whenever you have free time? What have you been doing whenever you've been on holiday for 2 months? What have you been doing? What during your clubs? What have you done in your clubs? Why do you want to belong in that club and not a different club? And if you stay there for 3 years, what activities have you engaged with and how that actually helped you grow? I think that those are key questions that we share with the students, that we want them to reflect and understand that sometimes it's not about quantity and I being in 20 clubs, it's more about you can stay in 2 clubs for a long time and have a great impact to different people, and that can have way better impact on your university application than many other clubs that you perhaps have not been engaging with for your years in high school. Okay, so that will be from me, and I would like to pass it to Mrs. Mrs. Ray. Thank you.
We're almost there, but we said high school, U.S. university and other holistic admission system value the students who are engaging, committed, and then well-rounded. So we wanted to just briefly show you, because different university system, different country actually evaluate students differently. So this is very simple information. We're going to unpack this more in grade 9 and 10 with a student as well as a parent workshop too. So U.S. university and Canada will mainly doing the holistic review. They will look at the GPA, their activity, essay, and recommendation. UK actually more focusing on predicted IB score with the subject preparation. And Netherlands and other European university, they are focusing on IB diploma with the subject prerequisite. Hong Kong University, they're very academic too, so predicted IB score and subject alignments. Korea, they're looking at their kind of holistic review, so academic, extracurricular, leadership and services, and then sometimes testing is important as well. We're going to unpack this more with a student and parent in grade 9 and 10. So, as Mr. Hidaga already mentioned, get involved with the intention. So college wanted to look for sustainable, sustained commitment and leadership growth, and then initiative and impact over time. So as the parent, you can encourage your child to choose 2 to 3 meaningful activities and stay committed throughout the high school, and that is more important than quality. And students may need to make double choices to stay balanced. because they cannot really balance academic and everything while doing that, like doing sports and then 5 clubs and other stuff, okay? And use your summer wisely. Student will have a summer break before the high school. I really want the student to using this time, explore their interest and more deeply, and volunteer or serve or develop academic strengths, and then build skill line with their future goal. So strong academic and meaningful engagement, and then develop their character, that will end up leading to their authentic and compelling university application. Actually, this is it for my slide, but at the end, I wanted to get more feedback, like what is one conversation you plan to have after this session with your child after tonight? So please scan this and then just type in whether in Korean and English, you know, what kind of one conversation you will have with your child. No one answers yet? So course selection, yes, definitely, yes. And then their interest, yeah, their kind of a goal, and then what they plan for their college course selection, and then their future goal, and then career goal, and interest in club, yeah. Those something that you can start having a conversation. As I mentioned, we're going to send this slide with the feedback form. So if you can submit the feedback form, that would be really helpful to develop any of the future workshop. So this is it. Thank you for joining us, and you as the parent knows your child the best, right? So we really wanted to working with you to support your child for their future, and they're meeting their fullest potential. Thank you so much, and let us know if you have any question. Mr. Ward can reach by MIP coordinator at TSAS.org.kl, and then this is my email address, rheeka@tsas.org.kl. So if you have any question, please email us. And then, as I mentioned, at the end of March or the beginning of April, I'm going to send out the email about the course selection in grade 9 with all the explanation, detail, and then all the resources you need to consider. Thank you so much. And then, actually, Mr. Ward had to leave because he had other commitment, but I will take the Q&A. If this question is kind of brought to everybody, if there's a more individual question, I'll be here until 2:50, so you can ask question individually. So if you have a question for whole group, can you ask question right now? 전체 그룹에 해당되는 질문은 지금 해주셔도 되고요. 인디비주얼 퀘션은 제가 2시 50분까지 여기서 가능하니까요. 인디비주얼리 문의하셔도 좋습니다. So no question? Yes.
활동 프로그램은 이게 중등학교 걸로 되어 있는데 고등 그 방과후 프로그램 똑같이 진행이 되는 건가요? 스포츠 여기 보면 가을, 겨울, 봄 뭐 이렇게.
네. 고등학교와 및 하이스쿨은 좀 중학교와 하이스쿨의 프로그램 자체가 좀 달라요. 그래서 중학교는 아마 시즌이 4개로 구성되어 있는 것 같고 그 구성도 좀 다른 것 같아요. 중학교는 본인이 원하면 다 참석할 수 있지만 하이스쿨은 아이들이 선발 과정을 거쳐요. 그래서 스킬이 좀 있어야지 선발이 된다는 게 좀 다르고 제공되는 그 프로그램도 조금 달라요. 그래서 지금 Fall, Winter, Spring 시즌에서 제공되는 게 중학교랑 좀 다른 걸로 알고 있고 선발 절차를 거칩니다. So question was about the extracurricular athletic and activity, and you can see from this slide the high school season kind of have a little bit different. So fall season we are offering volleyball and cross country and tennis, and winter season basketball and cheerleading, spring season soccer and badminton. What different from the middle school? High school we do have a tryout process. So in middle school everybody can join if they want to, right? But the high school you need to do the tryout, and then the player will be selected based on their skill and their potential too. One tip I wanted to give you, everything is kind of tryout. Cross country, there's no cutoff. So if student wanted to join, they can do it. 다른 거는 다 선발 과정을 거쳐서 하기 때문에 떨어질 수도 있어요. 근데 크로스 컨트리는 그 컷업이 없어가지고 다 참석할 수 있답니다. 그러니까 그거 한번 참고해 주시면 좋을 것 같아요. Okay. Anything else? 네.
So when it comes to sports, I understand you have practice from maybe 4 or 4:30 until 6 and continuously in the season, right? Every day. So I wonder about if you do one sport and you do forensics or do AQT or robotics. So what is that time?
Yeah. So as you already mentioned, we have a practice from 4:30 to 6:30, about 2 hours practice almost every day. So it's a big commitment. And then the question was, what about the student doing the other sports and also doing the forensics or AQT team? Some AQT and forensics sometimes meeting during the O-block, so they can still managing both the sports and then the forensic or AQT. And sometimes what students will do, when they will do the fall season, then they will kind of stop doing forensic during the fall season, but rejoin in there after they finish the season. So that's sometimes students will do. But technically, students can do both because forensic and AQT are meeting during the O-block time before the practice starts. But that's big commitment though, so we need to. Students need to make a thoughtful decision, what they need to do. 저희가 이제 이런 스포츠랑 포렌식은 올 이어로 가니까 이걸 동시에 할 수 있나라고 질문이 있었는데요. 테크니컬리는 가능해요. 왜냐하면은 스포츠는 4시 반부터 6시 반까지 연습을 하고 포렌식이나 AQT는 오블락에 만나거든요. 그렇지만 이거는 굉장히 큰 커밋먼트이기 때문에 밸런스를 위해서 가끔은 폴 시즌에 참여하는 아이들은 포렌식을 폴 시즌에 좀 쉬다가 윈터 시즌에 조인한다거나 이런 조금의 그 융통성의 플렉서빌리티가 있어서 가능하다고 말씀드리겠습니다.
Is MUN also an athletic activity?
No, MUM is a kind of a club.
Oh,
Yeah.
So that would be in club time?
Yeah. No, there's also MUM also meeting. I think MUM also meeting during the O blocks.
Oh.
Yeah.
9학년에 더블 사이언스를 하게 되면 시간표는 항상 블럭이 정해져 있잖아요.
네네.
그러면 더블 사이언스를 하는 학생의 경우에는 다른 시간 하나가 빠져야 될 것 같은데.
그 시간표가 정해져 있는데요. 더블 사이언스를 하는 학생들은 스터디 홀이 없고요. 더블 사이언스를 하지 않는 학생들은 그 시간에 스터디 홀을 할 수가 있어요. 스터디 홀은 그 슈퍼바이즈드 된 공부하는 시간인데 그게 이제 부모님들이 생각하실 때는 그러면은 또 노는 시간인가 라고 생각할 수 있는데 아이들이 그때 사실 리플렉트도 하고 observe도 하고 자기 공부도 하고 이런 시간이기 때문에 저는 개인적으로 스터디 홀을 하이스쿨에 갖는 거는 조금 많이 도움이 되는 것 같아요. So question was that if a student taking the double science, is that take out from the others study time? So my answer was the student who are taking the double science will take the courses every single block. The student those who are not taking the double science, they will have a study hall time during that time. And study hall is the supervised, individual, independent study time. So student will kind of spend those time to prepare for their test or homework. Sometimes they reflect and then kind of observe what they learned from the previous classes. So I do see the value of having a study hall time in grade 9. 네.
더블 사이언스는 완전히 학생이 원하면 그냥 들을 수 수 있는 건가 아니면 학교에 어떤
네네. 그래서 더블 사이언스는 그 requirement가 있어요. 그래서 제가 오늘 여기서 프레젠트 하진 않았지만 제가 편지 보내드릴 때 보내드릴 거예요. 수학하고 과학의 8학년 때의 성적과 레벨에 따라서 들을 수 있는지 없는지가 결정이 되게 될 겁니다.
지금 9학년 보니까 바이오랑 캠이 있잖아요. 뭐 두 개를 더블 사이언스를 선택을 하고 10학년 때는 만약 피직스를 안 듣겠다고 하면
그럴 순 없어요. 그래서
네, 더블 사이언스 10학년도 더블 사이언스 가야 돼요?
아니요.
그러면
이건 1년짜리 과목이기 때문에 9학년 때 더블 사이언스를 한 아이들은 10학년 때는 피직스밖에 선택이 없어요.
캠 10은요?
네?
캠나
9학년 때 캠 듣는 아이들도 사실 피직스밖에 저기가 없어요. 저희가 9학년 때 바이오를 안 들으면 10학년 때는 들을 수 없다라고 학생들하고 부모님들께 저희가 분명히 말씀드립니다. 그래서 이 자세한 내용은 저희가 이메일에 더 자세히 설명을 드릴 건데요. 대부분의 아이들은 바이올로지 9을 듣고 그게 굉장히 successful해요. 그리고 10학년 가서 케미스트리나 피직스에 선택을 하거나 아니면 두 개를 듣거나 해도 되고요. 만약에 하이스쿨 9학년 때 더블 사이언스 리퀘어먼트에 밑하고 확실하게 내가 그 커밋먼트가 되어 있고 아까 밸런스가 잘 되어 있고 이런 학생들은 더블 사이언스를 하고 10학년 때 피직스를 듣고 나중에 DP 갔을 때 이 세 개 중에 뭘 들을까를 결정할 수 있는데요. 한 가지 고려하셔야 될 거는 9학년 때 두 개를 다 들었는데 여기서 좋은 성적을 못 받았을 경우에 DP에서의 레코멘데이션에 영향을 미칠 수 있어요. 그래서 9학년 때 무조건 더블 사이언스인 게 좋냐? 그건 아닌 것 같아요.
궁금한 게 그럼
네.
9학년 때 더블 사이언스 듣고 10학년 때 캠만 듣는 건 안 된다는
안 돼요.
거예요?
네. 왜냐하면 캠을 이미 들었잖아요. 그래서 없고 여기 이때는 피직스만 들을 수가 있습니다. 그래서 만약에 우리 학생의 플랜이 바이오하고 캠을 9학년, 10학년 때 듣는 거다. 그러면은 9학년 때 바이오, 10학년 때 캠을 듣는 게 가장 좋은 플랜이고요. 우리 학생의 플랜이 캠이랑 피직스를 9학년, 10학년 동안 듣는 거다. 그러면 이렇게 듣는 거. 만약에 우리 학생의 플랜이 나는 세 개를 다 들어보고 싶다. DP 결정하기 전에. 그러면 이때 더블 사이언스를 하든 이때 더블 사이언스를 하든 할 수 있습니다. 네, 두 개 다 장단점이 있어요. 그러니까 아카데믹하게 레디된 학생들은 9학년 때 더블 사이언스 가능하고요. 만약에 10학년 때 더블 사이언스를 할 때에는 PP, 퍼스널 프로젝트랑 겹쳐서 조금 바빠질 수도 있고 뭐 다 장단점 아니면 9학년 때 이미 사이언티픽한 스킬을 어콰이어 해서 10학년 때 더 잘할 수도 있고 이제 그런 다 장단점이 있어서 인디비주얼 어프로치로 가야 될 것 같고요. 그걸 고려하실 때 그 리퀘어먼트가 있다. 그래서 리퀘어먼트는 아까 말씀드린 것처럼 수학하고 과학하고의 성적 8학년 때에 그 다음에 지금 수학이 익스텐드드에 있느냐 그리고 10학년 때 익스텐드를 들 수 있느냐 이거에 따라 달라 있습니다. So for the I didn't really put the requirement here, but when I send the email to the parent, I'm going to put the more really detailed information about what's the requirement for the double science eligibility for grade 9. To say briefly, in order to take the double science grade 9, students need to have a sufficient score. I think it's over 6 overall MIP grade, so out of 7. So over 6 in grade science 8 and math extended 8. Student who wanted to take the chemistry 9 in grade 9, the student needs to be in math extended in grade 8 and grade 9. So that's kind of requirement. I'm gonna put those detailed information on my email. So when you are getting my email, you'll receive very kind of step-by-step kind of information you need to know, and then the things you need to think about. Any other question? 네, 저기 어머니 먼저.
네. 첫 번째는 여기서 시간표 블럭에서요. 월요일 빼고 4시 반에서 거의 5시에 끝나는 스포츠 클럽하고 드라마 거기에서 하라는.
네, 제가 죄송한데 스케줄에 관련돼서는 제가 답변 드릴 수 없는 부분이라서요. 그 피드백 보내드릴 때 거기다가 적어주시면 제가 교장 선생님께 전달하도록 하겠습니다. Regarding the schedule, block schedule question, actually I cannot really answer because that's in a progress in draft yet. So when you are putting those information, your question on the feedback form, then I will pass those to the secondary principal. Yes.
Probably this week it's more about the question about the bus availability. I know that bus
Yeah, there is an athletic bus. Yeah, there is athletic bus. 근데 제가 정확히 모르겠는데요. 6시 반이나 6시 45분 정도 될 것 같은데 제가 정확히 모르겠어요. So we do offer bus. I don't know the exact time for the athletic bus, but we do offer the athletic bus for those students who are participating in the sports because the practice ends at 6:30. 네, 그러면 네. Yeah, grade 9 electives. I didn't put the information in here, but let me show you. Let's see. Actually, this will be also sent it to you when you are discussing your courses with your child. This is the form. You will receive this via email, but we do have electives and STEAM coding, STEAM media promotion, and high school concert choir, orchestra, and then PE as the elective. But this is optional. So in middle school, electives are requirement, right? So everybody needs to take the electives. But the high school is optional courses, so student can choose to take these optional elective courses, which the grade will be pass or fail, not a 1 to 7 or calculated to the GPA. The student will gonna get the extra credit by taking these elective courses. But this is actually this is this year's, and we are still in a process to create the completing the elective course list. But it's way less than the higher block, right? So it's way less than blocks, yes.
So if a student takes like double science, you say one of the science will be in the study hall. Is it that study hall there?
Yeah, this is study hall.
Study hall.
This is study hall.
Okay,
So the students who are taking the double science will not have a choice to take the PE, but they will not have a study hall here. The students who are not doing the double science have a choice between PE or study hall. The elective is a different blocks, and then the same elective courses, if the students are not taking the elective, they will also have a study hall. This is a separate one.
Okay, so if they use a study hall for science, they can take the elective study
Yeah.
study hall.
All right, so actually I do have another meeting start at 3, so I think I need to wrap up. So again, I'm gonna send out this slide with both English and Korean with the feedback form. So please respond to feedback because your response is very valuable to further develop on our workshop. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for and then in April I'm going to send out another email with a very detailed information about the course selection prior to I'm meeting with the student, so you can have a discussion with your student before I met with your student and selecting their courses. Thank you so much. 감사합니다.
가장 중요한